What we are looking at right now, this is the jack pump for an HWH hydraulic leveling system. It also will control, if applicable, if you have slide out rooms, this pump and their HWH slide out rooms hydraulic, this will control them as well. You can see I have this little bar right here. That is a jack pump handle. It will be stored typically somewhere near the jacks or the jack pump. And this one in this case is pinned up here to the front beside it. And you'll notice that there is this little doohickey that I can turn. That is the actual lever that I use to pump the system up. You can see I can play with it. The handle goes in there all the way. There's no sort of lock, and you can pump with it. Now, what you're looking at to the left, this black tank here, is a reservoir tank. It's where all the hydraulic fluid is inside the actual jack system. When the jacks are extended, or when the jacks are extended, the fluid goes into the cylinders on each jack, and you're going to notice the level will drop inside this reservoir tank. This little yellow guy right here is actually a breather valve, but it is also the fluid dipstick to check the fluid inside that tank. When checking the fluid, the jacks must be retracted, and if you have HWH slide out rooms, the slide outs actually must be out. This is the only time that we will ever recommend you operate the vehicle with the slide outs out and the jacks not down. Any other time when you are going to be operating the vehicle, you must have the jacks down before using slide outs or stairs or awnings, that kind of thing. In this circumstance, you must check it though with the jacks up and the slide outs out if you have them. When checking it, you're going to take this little guy and it turns right off. I'm going to wipe it off so that you can see. On this little guy, there is a little lip right here about midway. That is your fill/full line. This right here is low. That is where it should be. The fluid should come up right to this little guy. If it is beyond and you have overfilled it, this little hole is actually the breather valve. And it's where the air goes up and out so that it can breathe. If you fill it up too much, that can be an issue. So please keep an eye on it. If you follow the steps I told you, the jacks are up, slide outs out, you can help to eliminate overfilling. So what you want to do, you want to make sure that you pull it out, wipe it clean, put it back in its little hole, turn it down until it is snug. You do not want to crank these too tight. They kind of have like a pipe fitting so that they get tighter the more you tighten them down. But you can see this only goes so far down. I still have some thread showing. I'll snug it up a little bit. I'll turn it back out. And I will now check the level of the fluid on the jacks. Now I have my jacks down, which is indicating why this thing is reading, but it will typically be right at that little line. I'll put that back in here. Up in the left hand corner of the screen, the camera, you will notice up here this little control panel. You may or may not be able to see that control pad. That control pad actually has the leveling mechanism, the leveling circuit board and all that in it. So it may be up against the bottom of your floorboard or something like that. There are some fuses inside that. You can see, if you can't see it on the camera, it's probably hard to see. It says all fuses 15 amps maximum, and I can see a bunch of little 15 amp blue fuses. They have little lights next to them. They will typically, those will be what you would check. If you have a problem with the system, you can contact Farber. You can call, our main number is 614-863-6470. Ask for service, and they will help you out with this. But you can also contact HWH, and that is HWH Hydraulics. They can walk you through it as well. You can look them up online, or their information and contact number will be in the manual that was provided with your unit. Now, what we're actually looking at here, so you can see, it's hard to see a bunch of them, but there are 4 on this side and 4 on this side. These are little solenoids. They are actually what controls the flow of fluid inside this little block area to each jack from the pump. Now, these little guys are not delicate, but they are plastic, so be careful when you flip them. If they don't seem to be moving, don't pry on it. If you break this little guy off, you have to get a new one. You just knock this pen out and they send you a new one. But I can flip this up, and you couldn't see it in the video, but now that is up, one of my jacks actually started raising, and it's the left rear. Now on top of this little block, you may or may not have a label, but on my block I can see it says, these left ones say extend, and this one says it's for the left rear jack, or this other side says you can retract. So if I flip this little lever up on the extend side and I pump, I am now pumping fluid to that jack to raise it. Now, doing what I'm doing, this is an emergency situation only. This is only if you were to lose power. Now, if you were to get one of these lines were cut somewhere underneath the vehicle, this will not work. This pump will not work. You need to contact HWH or Farber, and they will walk you through the next step in the process. Now, let's say I lost all my power. I got no power to my breaker. I got no power inside to the panel. I would, if the jacks are down, I would flip up the retract side, and you can see I just flipped that one up, and start pumping. Now this is going to start retracting the jack. Now please be aware that this takes quite a bit of time, and like I said, it's for emergencies only. Please review your manual before you ever try to do this yourself. This is pretty in-depth actually, but you can bring all the jacks up. But I would review your manual. It will tell you the proper fluids that should be in it. We recommend check it about once a month. If you see fluid leaking anywhere around the vehicle, if you see hydraulic fluid coming down off any of your jacks, if you see it coming off your tank out of one of these lines, please make sure the system is fully retracted and get it looked at as soon as possible. You do not want to try to use the system if there is hydraulic leak. Hydraulic lines are highly pressurized, and if you are hit by any sort of jet of leaking fluid from this, it can actually be injected into your bloodstream, into your body, and it is highly toxic to your body. It can kill you. So please be careful with leaks and that sort of thing, especially if you see it squirting out. Step back, turn the power off to it, get a professional to look at it. When you're done with the handle, put it back in its mounting location. I'm going to set it down. Make sure that you turn, if this guy was out, it sometimes can hit the doors. Make sure you turn it back at a 90 degree with the actual unit. And that is all there is to HWH jack pump.